to mash your mind up.
Where the hell's that bass coming from?
Hello and welcome to the Cynical Optimists. I am haddowinc.
And I am NGM.
First off, some kind of explanation for last week. At the end of last week, we were saying that we're going to try and find some audio of Peter Capaldi playing guitar for our opening. But the thing is that the clip that we found was a Vine.
So it was
Vines
ridiculously short.
Yeah, it's short, too short really to use for the opening. So we thought we'd go with a nice Fallout 4. It was a song from the E3 trailer. If you ever want to find whatever song we use for our opening, there's usually a link to the YouTube version of it in the description. So, this week, what's been going on?
Film news? Film news? Shall I go on to film news?
Yeah, let's start film news.
Let's start with film news. We normally do. Let's not break the schedule. Marvel, obviously.
Our weekly Marvel segment.
Weekly Marvel segment. Not a lot has gone on. James Gunn has confirmed the sequel title of Guardians of the Galaxy. It's going to be called Volume 2. Of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. What else has happened, Marvel? Oh, yes. Last week, on the last... In fact, it went up around the same minute we finished recording. A new friggin' Spider-Man was announced.
Yeah, it was literally, we finished recording at about 5:15, and then it was 5:15, it was like, breaking, Spider-Man announced. It's like, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, so if you haven't heard, Tom Holland, British actor, he's been cast. That's the second British Spider-Man, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Well, okay, maybe not the second in all time, but Andrew Garfield, the last guy, was half British at least. British superheroes are the best.
I hope they skip the origin story this time.
Well, yeah, apparently we won't see Uncle Ben die again.
Oh, good.
Spoiler, by the way. Yeah, apparently it's supposed to focus more on the fact because of the extent of Marvel superheroes they've got at the moment. They wanted to take Peter Parker's, and they're doing Peter Parker again. I think we've already discussed this, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're taking him back to a real sort of high school kid type thing, because he isn't a billionaire. He's got to sort of like still be handing in his homework and stuff. Might be interesting because they didn't focus a lot on that side of him in the last two Spider-Man series, did they?
No, I only saw the first Amazing Spider-Man.
I didn't see the second, actually.
I didn't see the second one, but I heard it was absolute crap.
I didn't bother. I literally did just read up about the film after. I couldn't even be bothered to...
Well, the thing is that it was because Sony had that failed expedition to try and set up a Spideyverse or whatever.
Oh, God, yeah.
Because they're trying to set it up for like the Sinister Six and all that. But yeah, apparently the film was just a bit of a mess.
Yeah. I mean, it made shitloads of profit, but not as much as shitloads as they normally do.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it got beaten in its opening week by like a summer comedy, which is usually seen as like a wet slap in the face for like an action movie, to be beaten by like a bit of a more lax, smaller budget, smaller box office returns kind of film.
Well, that's the thing. The director as well, Mark Webb. He's a rom-com director as well before Spider-Man, so that must have been an extra slap in the face. So yeah, we've got a new Spider-Man now. I mean, I haven't actually seen any of Tom Holland's work, but I'm sure he's a good choice. Apparently, it was a unanimous decision in the board.
That's good.
Amongst the casting team. I haven't got that much else to say about it.
Well, the thing is, I'm glad they're doing the whole high school thing, because with the whole way that the Marvel Cinematic Universe is going, especially with the side plots that are kind of being talked about in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., having a world where people around that age are just starting to discover that they might have powers kind of idea might make sense.
Right, yeah.
So, as it's kind of...
I mean, it's still not the most diverse universe. Well, the most diverse series, is it? I mean, it's still just another sort of...
Oh well. There's going to be Black Panther coming, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. And I read an article the other day. Someone apparently quizzed someone at Marvel if there'd be a LGBT.
Oh right.
An LGBT. That is the right phrase, isn't it?
Yeah, lesbian, gay, bi, transsexual.
But I think now it's different because you've got to add different. I don't know. Let's just stick with LGBT. I apologise if we're not being politically correct. Yeah, apparently there will be an LGBT character by the end of the decade.
Huh.
So I mean, that's something, isn't it?
Well, yeah, that's that connects to DC, doesn't it? Who have just announced that supposedly Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy are together.
Really? Oh, I didn't know this.
This is in the comics, so it's going to turn out that they are...
I thought you were going to make an Aquaman joke there, but
no. Yeah, apparently, despite the fact Harley Quinn's thing is kind of like being in love with the Joker.
Well,
apparently,
yeah, I mean, I think some of the best relationships have been sort of like complicated. Like, there was an episode of Sherlock I really liked where Irene Adler was lesbian and she fell in love with Sherlock, and I think that was... I mean, sometimes it works because you then sort of make the characters more complicated rather than traditional sort of those basic films where the guy just sort of like flirts and the girl's like, oh, you're right, and then it just sort of happens.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think I think more diversity is pretty much all they need at the moment at Marvel.
Yeah.
They've got most other things. They've got it all.
Yeah.
So that's basically Marvel for today.
That's our Marvel roundup. Join us next week
for
more Marvel.
You mentioned Suicide Squad.
Yep.
Jared Leto, the new Joker, has apparently been sending dead hogs, bullets, and live rats to his cast members.
Okay.
As a form of getting in role, maybe? I guess.
Possibly. I know...
I mean, I think the Joker was a bit more extreme than sending dead hogs and things to his enemies. I think he killed them. But you know, hey. I mean,
but yeah, didn't they say that there is a psychiatrist on the set of Suicide Squad at all times or something like that because of the dark nature of the film.
Wow. I'm still really looking forward to this film. I think that's going to be one of DC's best coming up, hopefully.
I'm confused as to where it will fit in with this brand new DC cinematic universe idea, or whether it will just be by itself. Part of me kind of hopes the latter, so it doesn't have to get weighed down with any kind of...
I mean, I'm hoping it will be sort of like Daredevil, not in terms of theme and everything. In terms of it's very much focused on its own roots, but has those tie-ins as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as long as it sort of has... Because it's cool to see a universe, actually. I like films that make reference to other films, but again, I mean, I think it works best when it only makes reference to.
Yeah.
Rather than just completely sort of ploms it in them. Like, I mean, I'd argue that I know they're leading towards something with Infinity War and Marvel, but I think the Infinity Gems have been a bit shoehorned into some of their films, and it's made it a little bit more complicated than it needs to be.
Yeah, I mean, off the top of my head, I can only remember them actually appearing in Age of Ultron and
Guardians.
Thor 2.
Like,
apart from
Thor 2.
Oh yeah,
but
then that whole film was a bit of a.
Well, no, I quite liked the second Thor. I thought it worked quite well. My only problem was that it did feel a bit sort of shoehorned with the whole Infinity Gem. Oh, and plus Christopher Eccleston's character was so underused in it.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. It started off strong, and about halfway through, the main villain kind of gets dropped to the sidelines, and it becomes all about Loki and Thor.
The Loki show, yeah. What else have I got? Moving away from superheroes. Top Gun 2 is being written.
Oh my god.
Apparently it will focus on the rise of drone warfare and the demise of the traditional fighter pilot.
Huh.
So...
What would that be? Tom Cruise again?
Well, yeah, it's saying Tom Cruise's Maverick is set to return. I'm presuming it'll be this sort of... Oh yeah, you can't replace a man with a machine. But I've seen that in most other films before, I think.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's particularly going to say anything that hasn't been said.
I mean, I'm hoping it doesn't just go down the reboot route. Reboot route and just sort of make everything cheesy, CGI, and I mean that's the thing I don't really like about a lot of these reboots is that they basically make an entirely new film with lazy sort of effects and stuff, and then all they do with the name is just use it as a marketing tool.
Yeah.
And that's my
They
problem.
use it to get people into the cinemas.
Yeah, I don't mind... So this isn't even a reboot, is it? It's a sequel. I don't mind reboots and later sequels and stuff, as long as they don't just use it purely for a money exercise. I like it to stick with the sort of spirit and the... thoughtfulness of the original.
And it to actually work as a... in the world that the first film set up.
Absolutely, yeah.
Rather than being something that could exist in a completely different world, but just happens to have a bit of the name attached.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to see one bit of CGI in a Top Gun sequel, because it does not need it at all, does it?
No.
I mean, like, I hate that when you see a film and they've, like... It really does ruin the illusion when they... Even for, like, one little shot where they just show, like, a CGI... Okay, for this example, I'm already imagining a CGI, fuzzy, blurry drone going past.
Yeah.
And they use the exact same shot every time, don't they? Just to sort of a first-person look at the drone as it moves slowly towards the camera. And it's all blurry and CGI'd. I can just imagine that shot already, and it makes me hurl.
And the inevitable third act battle between the pilots and the drones.
Yeah, and the plane spinning round stupidly quickly in CGI motion as an explosion that's slightly off-coloured and gravitationally questionable sort of just goes off, and I can just imagine it already, and I don't want it to look like that. I want it to look like the original, where you can genuinely see like the flames coming off the afterburners and everything. I like the original Top Gun. I don't want them to remake it or sequel it or whatever this is supposed to be.
Maybe they'll use the CGI to make Tom Cruise taller, so you won't have to stand on boxes for this one.
Well, no, I mean at least it was gritty.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is a good one actually. Speaking of reboots and things, Back to the Future cannot be remade in the writer/director's lifetime.
No?
The director, Robert Zemeckis?
Oh yeah, Zemeckis. He says he's not allowing a Back to the Future remake to happen while he's alive. Oh, good on him.
I know, that's great, isn't it?
If he mysteriously dies in the next few weeks, I know where I'm sending the police.
And on the route of sequels/reboots that are actually happening, the director of Ghostbusters has shared a picture of the new proton packs from the reboot. Or this is the female-led reboot.
Yeah, that caused all the uproar.
Yeah.
So those damn women's taking all our jobs.
I mean, I hope it's not just for the sake of it, sort of.
I hope it's not just a retread of the first film, just with gender swap.
Yeah. Because I think... I can't remember who's supposed to be in it. Isn't it that Melissa McCarthy person?
I think possibly, yeah.
I've never watched any of their films, but in the trailers I've always been insanely annoyed at her because she's got a really sort of irritating rom-com face, isn't she?
I think I know the actress you're talking about, and I think I have seen her in things before.
She was in that new Jason Statham film, Spy. Okay, I should because she's the star of that film, I should really say that. Jason Statham was in her new film, Spy. See, that's gender roles. I apologise for my sexist wording there. But yeah. Yes, Top Gun 2, yada yada yada. I did have some more news, but I've completely forgotten it.
Oh,
I've got it print screened here on my tablet, but I can't. No, you know what? I'm out. Unless I think of some more in a minute, because this is a temporary out.
This is the temporary end of the film news.
Absolutely, and I might just butt into your gaming news in a minute, so just stand by.
Just like mid-sentence.
Oh, no, that's what I was going to talk about. I've got it, yeah. I wanted to talk about Terminator.
Oh, Genisys.
Yeah, because I was going to say, speaking of reboots, but I've already done that link, haven't I?
Yeah.
I've already done that tenuous link of the day. Yeah, Terminator Genisys has been getting some pretty shoddy reviews so far. Mostly 1/2, 3 at the highest stars. Out of 10? No, out of 5, I'm joking. But, yeah, which is a shame, actually.
Well, it's meant to set up a new trilogy, supposedly, isn't it?
Yeah, but the problem is, what we were discussing a minute ago, is that it does look too explosion-y and CGI-y. And I'm not actually... In fact, actually, I keep slagging off CGI, but the fact of the matter is, like, it should be way ahead of its time. It should be helmed by someone like James Cameron, who has actual vision, is an actual visionary. Well, was at least. Because Terminator 2, the effects in that were unbelievable, bear in mind it was made, how many years ago? Over 20 years ago? It was 1990?
1991, I believe.
1991. 24 years ago. Like, 24 years, and and then I've seen the trailers for Genisys, I haven't actually seen it yet, but the T-1000 they show in the Genisys trailer looks pretty much exactly the same as it did in 1991. And I think that's my problem with CGI, is that, I mean, yes, it can be used to blow the audience's mind, but when it's just sort of used, because this is, they're only using it because people recognise the T-1000.
Yeah,
it's not like they're creating something revolutionary.
I mean, it looks like it's gonna, like, the problem people had with Terminator 2 when it came out was simply that the marketing, the big twist in it was that...
In the trailer.
The big twist of Terminator 2 was in the trailer.
Yeah.
And I feel like no lessons have been learned.
Exactly.
It seemed like all the big twists about Genisys, I could already tell you from seeing that trailer.
Yeah, and they did it with Salvation.
Yeah, so... Thing is, like... I understand there's, marketing teams want to get as many people as possible to go see this film. At the same time, like... There must be more to market, hopefully, about a film than it's the fact that it's big twists.
Yeah, and besides, haven't they got already enough marketing from Arnold Schwarzenegger saying that line he once said in the first Terminator?
Or all those lines he said. All those lines he said that become catchphrases that he does in all of his films.
I reckon Terminator 7 or whatever we get to in a few years' time. No, it'll be on. The next one will be 6, won't it? After Genisys. I reckon by Terminator 7, every scene will him just be going, "Hasta la vista, I'll be back. Get to the chopper. Stick around, etc. Put that cookie down now." It'll just be endless one-liners, and they'll put all of them in the trailer to try and get you to see it.
Yeah, his catchphrase will just kind of meld into each other, like, "Hasta la see you later. I'll be back to the chopper."
Oh god! But actually, I've watched a clip that was shown for Terminator Genisys, and that does look awesome because they've recreated a scene from the original Terminator. Well, I think they've created quite a few scenes from the original Terminator, but they've put the new timeline twists in it. Like, there's this scene where it shows, in the first Terminator, I think this guy's a couple of cans short of a six-pack. Your clothes, give them to me now. You know that scene?
Yeah.
It's got that, and then you hear in the background, "You won't be needing any clothes." And then he looks around, and there's older Arnold Schwarzenegger walking towards him with a shotgun. And that was pretty cool. But yeah, sorry, getting back to my point. I don't think it's quite living up to what the original Terminator films were about, because they were so on topic and they were so themed, and they were genuinely making statements as well about technology, how it's taking over. And now it just seems to be another generic action film.
Yeah.
Whereas it should be pushing boundaries. Like, I actually quite liked Salvation because it went down a different route to the other Terminator films. But that was one of the most critically panned, so I can understand why they wouldn't take risks again. But I also think it shouldn't be too generic. If it met in the middle of Salvation and this new one, which I haven't seen yet, to be fair, then I think that would be a much better idea.
It's the Jurassic World thing, it's the Terminator Genisys thing, that the original films in their respective series had a deeper kind of thing to it. Like, Terminator's original point was about consumerism, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then Jurassic Park's original one was all about the kind of spectacle and all things like that. And both of them had the visual spectacle, but they also had the underlying meaning.
Yeah, they had a lot
of
of themes and stuff. Like with the original Jurassic Park, it was a lot about man shouldn't mess with nature, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then in fact, Terminator was similar, but it was sort of more a statement about wars and stuff, because the humans created the Terminators to stop sort of the bad guys, but then the Terminators turned on them because they were the creators of monsters and stuff, and there was some great meaning in that. And Terminator 2 was great. It was so deep with the amount of themes and stuff it went into. But since then, Terminator 3 was shite. Really didn't try to do anything new at all. It just... I hated Terminator 3. That's the thing. I mean, I don't think Genisys can be worse than Terminator 3. And for that reason, I'll give it a go.
Right. So, supposedly this is the new Terminator 3. It's all its benchmark is to be better than the current Terminator 3.
Absolutely, which isn't difficult, because I could literally vomit up charcoal and it would be better than Terminator 3. I don't know where that came from, but yeah, you know.
I'm not sure. Maybe you just had a very confusing barbecue.
Nick, this barbecue isn't lighting. I've got the charcoal.
Lighting the meat to cook the charcoal and eat it.
That's how my barbecues work. Is that not how everyone else does it? Thus ends my film news. I mean, I'll in the next week I probably will see Terminator Genisys, so I will follow this up next Tuesday/Friday if you're listening to this.
So, are we sure that is that it? You're not going to interject with any more film news, remembered?
I promise that's all the new film news.
Right.
Although, having said that, in a minute, I'm certain we'll probably get an announcement that the new Batman's been cast or something, or Ben Affleck's been fired or something. It's actually surprising we didn't get anything yesterday, did we? I don't think, because for the record, we're recording on a Wednesday this week rather than the usual Tuesday. But yesterday, when our podcast would have normally finished, recording, there wasn't any news.
No, which means they were saving it till today, probably.
Yeah, absolutely. When we finish recording, I'm sure the next Terminator 6 will be released by the time we finish recording.
Right, gaming news. As I mentioned last week, Arkham Knight has released. It's gotten quite positive reviews on PlayStation and on Xbox One. However, the PC version is just incredibly bad and broken. So much so that shortly after we recorded last week, I think it was the next day, Warner Brothers Games actually suspended sales and suggested that if people weren't happy, they got a refund. So,
okay. Right. I was going to say, what happens to the people that bought it?
So now that Steam refunds is a thing, I mean, it means that that's what people can do if they aren't happy with the state the game is in currently.
Oh, okay.
So the problem was, as people found, that the port of the PC version was outsourced to a 12-man team, which wasn't like Rocksteady weren't doing it themselves, and as a result, it just was bad. It just wasn't optimized. It had frame rate loss. It had low resolution textures. It had bad textures. It was just a bit of a mess.
They just tried to get it done as quickly and cheaply as possible, I suppose, didn't they?
It was the same studio that did the PC port of Arkham Origins, which was also broken on release.
So they used the same team again, having learnt nothing.
Yes.
Right.
Although the difference this time is when Arkham Origins was released, there was no Steam refunds. And Warner Brothers actually at the time said that they were focusing on DLC and didn't actually patch the game for ages. So it just shows you the change of priorities as soon as you realise that people will just refund your game. So, I mean, that's the cynical part of the story.
Where's the optimism?
The fact that now it's Rocksteady have retaken the helm on the PC version.
Okay, so it will be good. Yeah.
They're concentrating on that before they do any of the DLC things, but the DLC is supposedly going to be like monthly for 6 months or something like that.
Right.
So they've already done the first patch, which has fixed a handful of things. It means that it's fixed. If you want your version to go above 30 frames per second, there is now a button for that in the graphics menu, and there's quite a few fixes for NVIDIA and AMD graphics cards and rendering and things like that, but it's still nowhere near done.
Right.
But it's nice to see that such speedy work is being done on it as a kind of a good show of support. However, this whole Arkham Knight scenario has been an interesting one to watch, but there's an indie developer now which has offered a free copy of their superhero game to anyone who purchased Arkham Knight. I mean, I'm not sure if it's meant to be show of good faith, or whether it's an indie developer going, please look at our game.
It's a good plug, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah, so if you did buy Arkham Knight, you can go and look it up. You should be able to get a copy of Supreme League of Patriots for free. That's only for the PC version though, because the PS4 version, Xbox One versions, they're working fine.
Supreme League of Patriots.
Yes.
Right.
Supposedly it's about the Republican Party.
Okay.
Yes, I think that's pretty much everything for Arkham Knight. On the reviews, the only negative ones I've seen are people who have really not kind of liked the Batmobile functions.
Someone didn't like the Batmobile. That got really good reviews from what I saw.
See, that's the thing. That seems to be the polarising factor. If, perchance, the Batmobile segments were not to your liking, then it completely changes your entire experience of the game.
I haven't played the game.
I suppose makes sense.
Is it sort of? But is the Batmobile there in a sort of like, sort of COD or Battlefront 2 style? You can just sort of get in it and move around. You don't have to use it.
I'm not actually sure. I think there are missions where you are required to use it.
Right. Okay. So I suppose.
And you do. You have to use it in vehicle combat.
Oh. Okay. Right. But no, I mean, I'd like the. I haven't actually played the game, but it'd be cool if it is like a sort of. You could just hop in it and drive around.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't like games which force you to do bits that you don't like.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to think of a good example. Like some of the shitty mini games in the Lego games. Some of them are quite fun. Some of them you're just like, oh, okay, sort of done this like 3 times now on story mode. I'm now in free play. I can't be bothered to put the bricks into this position again. I can't be bothered.
Yeah.
I can't be bothered to build a fucking trike so I can press a button. Lego, come on. I mean, if the trike's there, I'll get on the trike. I don't want to build the trike and use it to get to a button. Just give me the trike. Give me the trike, Lego.
That's all I want.
Yeah, so sorry, go on.
Yes, moving on to the... there wasn't many more stories this week, but There was the man who pre-ordered Fallout 4 with
Oh,
bottle caps.
yeah, I saw that. And they actually sent him didn't they?
Well, he's got a pre-order secured. Like, Bethesda were rather impressed. They made sure to emphasise that they were doing it simply because this man was the first person to do it.
Yeah, they won't do it again.
So, yeah, they won't do it again. So, I certainly hope Bethesda just aren't full of bottle caps from hopeful fans now.
So if you haven't got any money and you'd like a copy of the new Fallout, then
if you haven't got any money and you'd like a copy of the new Fallout game, get the free one on your tablet.
Yeah. Good job.
But no, the man sent 2,240 bottle caps.
Wow.
So to be honest, like,
He deserves that.
the amount of
alcohol.
expense of just sending those is probably more than the special edition cost anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were very impressed, and yeah, it works. So, I mean, don't do it for Fallout. But if another series, there's some kind of ingenious way you think you could potentially pre-order it, then I guess no harm in trying. But you'd have to drink a lot of beer. So yes, that moves. Well, there's no tenuous link here, but the next news story is about Sony. On the 3rd of July, which is this Friday, they're going to be holding a E3 retrospective with the CEO, Mr. Yoshida, where they'll essentially. Well, if it's an E3 retrospective, I'm not sure what really is gonna be, except like, remember that time we announced the Final Fantasy VII remake? Wasn't that great? And then all the fans going, yeah. So I'm not really sure to...
Previously on E3.
Previously on E3. Because if it's a retrospective, I hardly doubt there's going to be any new announcements. So, yeah, it might just be them going...
Was it a retrospective?
Let's give ourselves a round of applause.
Was it a retrospective on this year's E3?
Yeah.
Right, like 5 years ago. Retrospective of our best E3 ever. Like... 10 years ago.
The 2005 E3 we're doing the retrospective of. Yes, also in the news, Minecraft has topped 20 million copies on PC.
Yay!
So that is around 70 million copies sold overall.
Christ.
It's one of the highest selling video games of all time.
Not bad.
Yeah, well, I mean, they've got that whole kind of franchise now, because you've got all the books and all of that kind of stuff to go with it.
I saw the other day in a shop they got a magazine, like weekly. They've got a weekly magazine about blocks.
They got a weekly magazine about a sandbox game that probably doesn't get updated every week. So,
and what do they talk about? Like, oh god, I can't even imagine.
We have trouble filling it up with the whole of gaming and TV news. Yes. Also, there was an indie title that has won quite a few awards called Shovel Knight.
Shovel Knight.
Shovel Knight. It's an action platformer. It's great fun. I'd say it's my favourite game from last year.
Really?
Yeah. It's styled like the old Mega Man and like Mario and Zelda games, like in the 8-bit kind of style.
It's not about a man who digs just endlessly, is it?
It's a knight who uses a shovel as his weapon.
Ah, genius.
Hence Shovel Knight.
Nice.
So he can dig up piles of treasure. He can use his shovel to like kind of jab people.
Ouch, that's brutal.
But yes, that is getting a physical release, which is interesting because it only started off as quite a small Kickstarter, and then it was only going to a PC, Wii U, and 3DS.
Yeah.
But since how popular it was, it's now been ported to PS4, PS Vita, Xbox One, and now it's getting physical copies. So if you wanted the box and everything, then that's going to be releasing October 13th.
Oh.
Or the boxed copies for all platforms. Although, I think some of them are going to be region specific. I think there's only going to be a physical PC copy in Europe.
Okay.
For some reason.
Right.
Maybe we just buy boxed PC games. And no one else does. So yeah, that is actually all my gaming news. There is really not a lot this year. This week.
Yeah, none left for the rest of the year, I'm afraid, guys.
So, does this move us on to the discussion?
It does, slightly prematurely, move us on to the discussion.
Well, 35 minutes, that's not bad.
Well, I suppose we could, if we just sort of cram this, if it's at least 10 minutes, then we've got a decent length podcast. We might have to stall a bit at the end, but okay. So this week we're talking about Top Gear.
Yes.
It's a fairly indie sort of TV show. You might not have heard of it. It's recently
very, very small audience.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's only shown in the UK, certain parts of the UK. There's these 3 presenters, and one of them recently got fired for doing something. But basically, yeah, I am joking, of course. The last episode was shown on the Sunday just gone. Okay, Sunday a little while back, actually, if you're listening to this on Friday, which you are. Well, maybe later.
Well, it's still last Sunday Friday.
Well, yeah, I know, but what if they don't listen to it until next Tuesday? But anyway, it's the Sunday just gone, which was in June. And basically, it's ended. I mean, they did the episode. The episode was supposed to go up way time ago because of Jeremy Clarkson having a fracas with a fracas with a producer, the episodes were put off until recently. Richard Hammond and James May presented the studio bits in what I thought was a very sombre tone.
Yeah, they kind of sounded like they were just there to fulfill their contract obligation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I did appreciate
the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a nice little touch, actually. Yeah, that was good, but they presented it as if it wasn't sort of really going ahead. But the actual films, classic cars and SUVs, I thought were classic Top Gear films. I think they were funny.
Yeah, I thought they were well done.
Entertaining. I mean, I've been reading and stuff in the Mail and this. Well, no, it wasn't the Mail. I think it might have been the Sun. They didn't really appreciate the last episodes. They thought it was. They were all saying, "Oh, I'm glad he's gone" and stuff. But that's the thing with Top Gear, because I like the fact that it divides people. Because the people who write the reviews for the Sun and this, that, and the other, they clearly don't like Jeremy Clarkson.
Which is weird, because doesn't Jeremy Clarkson write for the Sun?
Okay, it might not be in the Sun. It might. Oh no, what was it then? Well, it might have been the Sun, but it might have been the Sun sort of referring to other reviews.
Yeah. So, I mean, I appreciate that they wanted to get their... They didn't want the films just to be lost, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a bit of a shame that they couldn't have worked out some way for Jeremy to do his last hurrah in the studio.
Apparently he did some unpaid voiceovers.
Okay.
For the episode, just to sort of... You know when they do the little voiceovers, like, James was the first to arrive. That was... Like, he did stuff like that still.
Yeah, I did wonder whether he was going to be in those, so yeah. I wasn't sure if they just recorded those beforehand. Like, they might have just recorded them, and this was all just sat in
or whether they'd,
the editing room. Huh?
Or whether they'd CGI Chris Evans' face onto Jeremy Clarkson and dub him over.
This is when I arrived, and I said completely PC things.
But no, that's the thing. Why I think it's going to be a shame. It is a shame to lose. I mean, I know people don't like him. I mean, he's a very controversial person, but I also quite like the fact that people don't like him, because the people who wrote the reviews for the last Top Gear were never going to like it, but the people who do like Top Gear were going to like it. And I'd rather there was a really, really dedicated fan base who loved it, rather than a show which inevitably the new Top Gear will be, where it just sort of appeals to everyone.
To be honest, I think...
I mean, I'm not going to slag off whatever comes next.
I think Top Gear, the thing was, it appealed to pretty much everyone without even trying.
Yeah, I know, but it did also... The people that didn't like it hated it, and the people that did like it loved it. That's my point. Whereas a lot of other shows are very, very neutral. So like the One Show. I mean, like it's a show that's literally there for everyone to like, but no one loves it.
Yeah.
Everyone sort of thinks, it's the One Show, it's alright. No one thinks, oh, fuck, did you not record the One Show last night?
Yeah.
Whereas something like Top Gear, I mean, but that's on the flip side, no one hates the One Show. Because it's so inoffensive and it's so diluted.
Yeah, no one hates it. People find it boring, but
no one could ever get angry about the One Show.
Yeah.
Like they only included 3 ethnically diverse people this week. Grrr!
I think at the end of the day, new Top Gear. I think they're foolish for keeping on calling it Top Gear.
Well, I don't know, because that's obviously that's their. I mean, actually, to be fair, I think wherever Clarkson-Hammer may go next will be essentially Top Gear as it's been. But because the BBC have the name, they're not going to drop that because it's something to draw an immediate audience, isn't it? Because if they just tried to market it as a new car show, then it might not go down well. But because Top Gear's had 12 years in its current, over 12 years in its current format, and then millions of years in its previous format, it's already built its market essentially. Yeah, I'm going to give it a big go because I don't know what they're going to do with it next. So whatever I say is theoretical. Like I don't. Yeah. I mean, it might be really good, but I'm suggesting that there's the possibility it might get. It's not going to be as controversial, not going to be as silly, not going to be as fun as it was. But obviously, I'll give it a go as I give anything a go.
I wouldn't be.
But it won't be the same. I don't think.
I wouldn't be surprised if the first series of this new Top Gear does a few reimaginings of fan favourites from like the old Top Gear to try and make it seem like it's not as much of a change.
Yeah, possibly.
Like I wouldn't be surprised if like Aquatic Cars comes up again.
Or you know when they sometimes do like the Star and Reasonably Priced Car thing, they do the barbecue out the front. They might do that with the new presenters and celebrities and stuff just to try and affirm them as the new presenters, basically.
Yeah, like a fresh board?
Yeah, I mean, also I thought an interesting idea was, you know when Top Gear Australia started? Well, you might not. You probably won't. Basically,
I don't remember when it started. I remember that it is.
Well, you know, there was that episode where Top Gear UK had a fight. Well, not a fight, but did like the competition thing against Top Gear Australia. Yeah. That was when Top Gear Australia started. And I think that was a really smart way of affirming Top Gear Australia. So I mean, I know it's impossible, but it's not impossible actually, because even though Jeremy Clarkson's contract has ended over Top Gear, he's not fired from the BBC. So what I'd quite like to see is maybe sort of like a passing on the torch type thing. Maybe like the 3 current ones sort of in that same sort of versus competition thing against the new presenters.
I think they'd have to be careful of that.
Yeah, exactly. They'd have to be.
If that's done wrong, then it's just going to make people hate the new presenters more.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but it would be cool. I mean, I think it could go one way or another. Like it could either go really well and set up the new presenters as torch carriers, or it could set the new presenters alight, basically, in this genius Olympic torch metaphor that I've just created. It could either burn them or give them the flame. That's not bad, is it?
That isn't bad.
They could either take over the flame or they can set fire. Yeah.
They can be the flame.
There's a good metaphor hidden in that sentence somewhere.
Just need to get through the words to find the right words.
Absolutely, yeah. Rejiggle them a bit. Once you come up with a better solution, post it in the comments and I'll read it next week. As it was meant to be. But the idea's there. You know? I could go on Dragon's Den with that and they'd be like, oh, that's fucking brilliant. Turn that into an actual quote. Oh yeah, Dragon's Den starts soon, by the way, new series. There we go. I told you I'd slip in some TV and film news.
Cool.
Yeah. Oh, where were we? Top Gear. Yeah. Thoughts? What did you think?
Yeah, I thought I think they had a potential. The two films kind of felt, because they didn't have that gap in the middle and everything like that, they did feel a bit off.
Yeah, I mean,
but the films themselves are of high quality.
It sort of actually showed me as well how like relevant the news and the Star and the Reasonably Priced Car bits are to sort of break up the film.
Yeah, because I know some weeks I'm like, oh, there's too many like non-proper features and things like that, and it's just kind of killing time.
Yeah.
But it does highlight how important all that stuff in the middle
is.
It
really does break it up a bit, doesn't it? And yeah, I missed the news. The news was always good fun.
Yeah.
And the power, and I know, like, it's for the non-car fans that just love Top Gear, like, they don't really like the bit where they drive the car around, but I miss that a lot. I love their reviews of actual cars.
Yeah.
Because that's still a big part of Top Gear, which I hope they carry on. Well, of course, obviously they will, because it's still a car show at the end of the day, but I think it did weaken the episodes without a proper car review at the beginning.
Yeah.
Or a power lap.
Yeah, I think the car reviews, like, you can get some really nice, like, from a filmmaking point of view, some of them can be really nice direction and have some really nice effects in them.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think that's the thing as well. For the new Top Gear, I hope the editorial and the directing team stay on, because there was some part of it is how it looks, and the editors there make it look really exciting. Like a few years ago, there was a review of the Lexus LFA, and it had like these sort of like spaceships going up ahead in this really sort of cool layout and stuff, and it just made it look really, really cool, and it sort of keeps your interest going, and the way the music sort of keeps in and everything as well.
It depends how many of the cast, how many of the crew of Top Gear get lured away by the new show that Jeremy.
Yeah, that's the point, because Andy
doing.
Willman, the series producer, I think, has already jumped ship, hasn't he, over to.
Well, he was a childhood friend of Clarkson, so it made sense.
Well, yeah, you wouldn't expect him not to, but yeah, I mean he was quite a big part of Top Gear as well, so losing.
So it means that potentially any of the crew they get along well with, even Andy Willman, and he'll be like, there's a job for you here, right? Yeah. Same pay. Getting the crew, getting the old team back together, kind of idea.
I'm wondering where they will go, because they want more creative control, like Clarkson, Hammond and May, which makes sense. But I mean, they might get the freedom to do that with someone like Netflix, which is why I'm sort of rooting for Netflix.
Yeah.
I mean, ITV, I'm not opposed against, because the ITV are bigger risk takers than the BBC, but also ad breaks are going to fuck me off in an episode of Top Gear.
Well, especially since in Top Gear before, they've actually openly criticised ITV's placement of ad breaks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's true.
So
yeah.
I think Netflix would make sense from a due to the international kind of distribution of Top Gear, having an online service host or whatever the new show is would be helpful, because they'd be able to do it on their Netflix in America, Netflix UK. Netflix,
well, exactly, they profit
through their one.
I think Netflix would do well to take them on, because they draw in yet another audience who want to carry on watching an already established show. Yeah. And obviously Clarkson, Hammond and May will come out of it well as well, because they'll get more creative freedom and possibly a bigger budget.
Well, I mean, the Top Gear budget isn't small.
Not at all,
it's
no.
Like something like £250,000 per episode.
But I think Netflix has now started filming everything on 4K cameras, so that's going to be pretty immense if they film Top Gear on 4K cameras. And then some of the special effects budgets and stuff like, I watched the first episode of Sense8, and I mean, I wasn't a big fan of the actual series, of the look of the series, but visually it was a really nice looking show. I wasn't a big fan of like story and directorial style, but I think visually it looks just amazing, and some of the effects and stuff, and obviously Daredevil, that was immense. That was really
4K is the one above 1080p, isn't it?
Yeah, basically it's the next gen of tellies and stuff, and the quality is immense. But Yeah, so Netflix, Hulu's been sort of weighed up. Amazon. I'm hoping it's not Hulu because Hulu's American.
US.
Yeah, and I think that would be a huge mistake.
Yeah, I think the last thing we want is the an American only company.
Oh, exactly. Because I mean, it's weird because I was reading a report earlier on Fox. I think it wasn't Fox News; it was Fox Business side or something. But and they were sort of weighing it up, and who was it? I don't know. An industry expert said Hulu would make the most sense because Hulu are more sort of attracted to the sort of reality type show, and Netflix is more about stuff you can binge watch. But I think you can binge watch Top Gear.
Yeah, I think.
And Hulu just again, I don't know who this industry expert is, but I think he's wrong. Like, why would you cut out? I mean, America is still a huge audience, and so is the rest of the world. But the UK is still its biggest audience.
Yeah.
And no one in the UK is going to sign up to Hulu. No one's ever heard of it for a start.
Yeah. Like, I think due to the immense popularity of Top Gear, it almost transcends that kind of thinking because whoever gets it, it will be a large feather in their cap.
Yeah.
Like, if Netflix get it, they will be publicising the shit out of the new show.
Well, that's the thing as well, because everyone signed up to Netflix because of the extent of its content. If a smaller company like Amazon and Hulu, I mean Amazon Prime, is still quite a big company for on-demand streaming and stuff, but it hasn't got quite the extent of titles that Netflix has.
No,
and I think
not for free.
No,
anyway.
exactly. And I think if a smaller company got it, I think Top Gear would get less views because people sign up to Netflix and stuff because of its range, not just for one thing. If Hulu tried to brand itself here with Top Gear, I don't think many people would sign up because even though they've got Top Gear, it's also you've only got Top Gear and some old episodes of Family Guy and
yeah, I think you can have a feather in your cap, but it can't be the only feather.
No, exactly. Yeah. So I'm personally rooting for Netflix for the three of them and Andy, obviously, Mr. Willman.
Yeah.
Netflix, 22.27 million subscribers. No, sorry, 22.27 million international users. No, I've got that wrong again. It is international users. So everyone... Fuck, I've got that point wrong, haven't I? Basically, Netflix has a shitload of subscribers, and I think they do well to take Top Gear as well, because that could possibly extend it.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. You might get a different generation even coming into Netflix, because it's still quite young at the moment. I mean, I know Top Gear appeals to young people, but it also appeals to older audiences. And if people want to carry on watching the three of them, and Netflix is the place to go, then they might check out Netflix. So, that's my preference. Right, yeah. So what do you think of Netflix's? I mean, we're moving topic a little bit here, but in terms of online streaming sites and things like that, what do you think is it taking over television?
Not quite yet.
No.
Purely because in America the rate of the speed of the internet in America still isn't, in some places, still not fast enough to support Netflix.
Right.
So the thing is, like, there are some... We live in a rather good area that has fibre optic installed, don't we?
Yeah.
But there's other places that are still using very much
snobs.
Old broadband speeds.
Yeah.
So the thing is, that was always I think one of the benefits of BBC iPlayer when it was first released is that if you didn't have a fast enough internet to actually play anything, you could put it on the desktop application, like kind of like a temporary download.
Yeah, I quite like that actually.
And that allowed you to watch it later, whereas
even if you haven't got Wi-Fi, you can download it somewhere and then watch it on the train or somewhere else as well. Yeah, I think iPlayer has. They've recently. iPlayer's. They're thinking of moving BBC Three to online. I don't know if it's actually confirmed yet, but that could potentially make the move online, which I think could be interesting. They recently showed a new Peter Kay programme just on iPlayer, which they actually moved to a TV slot for a bit because it did so well on iPlayer. Obviously, Netflix and Amazon and stuff have been picking up shows that have been dropped, like Ripper Street. They've also been considering other shows like the recently dropped Hannibal. What's that? In the Flesh. That's been potentialed for Netflix. I quite like the rate of development of online streaming sites, actually.
Yeah, I think the main thing is for the internet providers now to get on with making the super fast internet speeds available everywhere.
Because even us students, I mean, for the last year, I haven't been using a telly at all, at uni, because I've just been doing all my streaming through Netflix and stuff. So I think, it does actually have the potential to replace telly. But do we want that to happen? That's my question.
Yeah, well, I think that's another discussion for another week, isn't it?
Fine.
The benefits of traditional television.
Yes, very true.
Versus on-demand streaming services.
Well,
because I know this is something we've discussed at length.
We have discussed at length. Good point. It might be a bit difficult to add on to another discussion. We'll save that for a future. So we've got a few ideas to throw into future episodes. We'll have the discussion about online services taking over. We've already had a preview of that discussion. We'll have the Doctor Who discussion, and I'll probably have another discussion about Terminator once I've seen Genisys.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think I'm about there.
Yeah, today's discussion wasn't quite as long as E3 yesterday. I haven't lost my voice from it.
Should we talk a little bit more about Top Gear? What's been your favourite episode? Let's go for that.
I think I did, like I said before, I did always enjoy the aquatic cars, or when they had to make something out of something else. Like the end of their Vietnam special where they had to convert the bikes into water mobiles. That always showed a great ingenuity in engineering.
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna miss the features. I'm gonna miss just the general kind of
silliness.
Yeah, and the kind of the chemistry that the three cast members had with each other.
Yeah, I think my favourite episode has always been the first American special, like the first special, basically.
Oh,
where, apparently it was what I quite liked as well is that it wasn't too. Yes, Top Gear is scripted quite a lot, but it wasn't. Apparently, like the first Top Gear special was made by accident because they didn't want to cut anything down from the main film, so they just cut out all the studio bits. And that's how the Top Gear special began. And I quite like that, and because it's all very much the sort of, it's what they wanted to do. It's very much, there's nothing too guideliney about how it's made. It's all very much how they want to do it. And I think the first American special was just like so unique as a television thing to anything else, because it was literally just the three of them going to America in cars, and it just turned into one of the funniest things I think I've ever seen on telly. When you first see that cow on the roof, don't think. Yeah, there's not many shows that are going to get moments like that again. I mean, the thing is as well, a lot of people say it got tired towards the end, but I'd still argue that they did an Australian one recently as well. And I thought that had still the same level of the banter and the wit and the comedy sort of integrated, as well as something epic. I think it's going to be a show that's difficult to replace.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough act to follow.
Absolutely, the toughest of acts to follow. Yeah. But on that somber note, on that bombshell.
Oh,
look at that. Phil, what's this week's opening? No. I knew you were going to say that. Let's not do that, because last week we used something that was a bit sort of straightforward, wasn't it? We need to do the quirky stuff. Have you ever listened to the remix by Swede Mason of Top Gear? I think we should use that.
Would you be able to edit together an actual special Cynical Optimist opening, like using a shorter cut of it or something.
We'll use that as the Cynical Optimist opening. That'll be this week's opening.
I mean, do you have any silhouettes of us to use?
I see. Oh no, sorry, I'm not doing that. Oh right, no, that's effort. Oh, I see what you mean, yeah. And then with the foot pressing the accelerator and the car's power sliding by. No, I can't be bothered to do that. But
that's fair enough. It's a weekly through.
So yeah, that's about it. Do you want to round us off?
Yeah. So next week we're back onto a gaming topic. So unless anything more relevant really comes into view, it will most likely be something to do with Arkham Knight, with its just talking about in general games being released buggy and things like that, or it might just be about Batman. Might just be about the series as a whole. Might be about a different series. Might do our episode on the upcoming Star Wars games and a Star Wars retrospective and the video games.
We'll come up with something interesting.
It will most likely be to do with games.
Hopefully our discussion today wasn't too strained. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yes.
And
we thought it'd be nice to do a send off to
both of our favourite shows, isn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Do a send off to Clarkson-era Top Gear, as it will probably be known in the future.
Most likely. Or classic new Top Gear. No, old new Top Gear. Yeah, that works, doesn't it?
Before new Top Gear.
So, I've been NGM.
I've been haddowinc.
Thank you very much for listening.
See you next week. Bye.
Ta-ra.